Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. It's been a busy old time in the workshop the last week or so. I've had the Gixxer to work on, I've needed to do some work on the BMW, and of course the Husqvarna remains on a stand, no wheels on it. So, in no particular order, the Gixxer. So the Gixxer is the bike that I'm going to be taking on the Strano Bikes Parador Tour 2024, which is the short tour I've arranged with 5 other people to ride around northern and western Spain, dipping into Portugal in September. The Gixxer is the bike I want to take, and I have got some SW Motec panniers which I used on my Fireblade when I went to Romania. But when you buy the SW Motec panniers, these particular ones, the kit that adapts it to the bike is bike specific. Well, obviously I don't want to buy new brackets, so I've adapted the ones I've got and they're fine. So the Gixxer now is ready to go. I also needed to do some work on the BM. I'll show you what I did. The throttle mounting, the way this is mounted to the bike is that you take off the covers and there's a bolt, a very sort of small bolt, which goes through the handlebar and then attaches into some plastic stuff underneath. And I wasn't happy with where it was located because these are not stock bars. The reason I changed the bars is because the alley down which I ride the bikes to get into the workshop is narrower than the stock handlebars would allow. So I bought these Renthal fat bars and changed the handlebars, which was relatively easy, apart from the fact that you need to drill a hole through both sides to go right through the handlebar in order to locate this, and it wasn't located ideally where I wanted it. I needed it to be further forward, so I took it all apart, drilled a new hole, put it all back together, which takes a while. Anyway, that's the BM. So the Gixxer and the BM, nothing left to do on them. The Husqvarna. So the Husqvarna had a leaking fuel tank, which I emailed Raid Garage about, and within 5 days they had sent me a new tank, and they'd also sent a new banjo bolt and the heat shield. I filled it with fuel, tested it, it seemed to be okay, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's about a week ago. When I put the tank on the bike and I fitted it all up, I had a few issues. I'll explain what they were. So the fuel, the seat's not on the bike, obviously you can see that. So the Raid Garage kit comes with a fuel cap and this moulding, this carbon fibre moulding. Now the problem with it is that the cap did not locate down onto the tank. So you've got a washer in there, a rubber washer, which obviously you want to locate onto there. And when I used to put it on the bike, it would locate onto the moulding, not flat down onto the tank. So I had to angle grind some of the cap off. It's made of aluminium, and now it locates onto the tank, not onto the moulding. So that's good. However, I filled the tank up with fuel right to the brim when I'd finished everything, and now I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if this will show up on camera, but you might be able to see that there is now air in the top of the tank. Now that suggests that the tank has leaked. So what I've got to do now is take the tank off again and find out what's happening underneath. And I suspect I'm going to discover that this one is leaking as well, in which case I'll be talking to Raid Garage. So the other thing that's been going on is, of course, the wheels. So my plan was to make the wheels tubeless. I don't want tubed wheels. I don't know that anyone wants tubed wheels. Anyway, it came with tubed wheels and I wanted to convert them to tubeless. So I watched a couple of videos on YouTube, because YouTube is a wonderful thing, as you know, and discovered how to do it. Bought some stuff called Tiger Seal, although I'm not aware you actually seal any Tigers with it. And I took the wheels off, took them to a friend of mine at Triumph Tech at Halfpenny Green Airport, and he took the tyres off for me, got them back here, and I sealed the spokes with this Tiger Seal. I basically put some tape around to allow the spokes to be adjusted in the future should they ever need to be, and then put this Tiger Seal round. Got a new valve, because obviously normally the valve comes on the inner tube, but got separate valves for them. Did all that, took them back to my friend at Triumph Tech, and he put the tyres on for me, and they seemed fine. Okay. Anyway, I brought the wheels home. At the time they had 35 psi in, because I thought, well, I want a lot of psi in because I want to know that they're going to hold it, because I wouldn't be riding them with 35 psi. And I thought, well, okay, I'll see what they're like tomorrow, and if they're if they're okay, then I'll reduce the pressure down to what it should be, and then I'll see how it goes. Anyway, the next day the rear was down to 30 and the front was down to 19. So I then got a wheelbarrow, or the wheelbarrow. I already have a wheelbarrow. Everyone has a wheelbarrow, don't they? Filled it up with water and used this to test where is it leaking, because I don't know, is it leaking from the spokes, is it from the valve, where is it leaking? Anyway, it's leaking from the joint between the tyre and the rim, because the rims, they weren't designed for tubeless. I'm sure they weren't. And reading on forums and everything, people have done tubeless conversions on the Husqvarna 701. But my understanding is that they've changed the rims, and there might be people out there that say, well, actually you can do it, you just need to do this, that and the other. Anyway, so I can't make these wheels tubeless, or I'm pretty sure I can't. So I've ordered a pair of Hahn wheels for the bike, and they can provide tubeless wheel rims for this bike. Obviously they're not cheap. They come out, I think by the time they get on my doorstep they'd be about 1,500 quid, which is a lot of money when you consider the bike only costs 10. Like if you spent 15% of the bike's value on wheels, that would be a lot. Anyway, they should be here by the end of the month, and then I'll put the tyres on. I've got the what are they called, Dunlop Trail Max tyres, so they will go on those wheels. And what I'll do is I'll keep the stock wheels with tubes in, I'll put some serious knobblies on, and then I'll be able to use that if I want to do some real hardcore off-road stuff, which I may do in the future. So that's the Husqvarna. So I need to take the tank off today and see what's going on there. The wheels I can't do anything with because I've got to wait for the Hahn wheels to do. And the big job today is, when I took the wheels off, I noticed that the right hand fork leg seal had gone. I'll show you a picture. Considering the bike is designed for enduro, and I have not done any hardcore enduro on this bike. I've done a bit of off-road tet, and that's fine, but I haven't been doing leaps and jumps or anything like that, or jumping over tree trunks or any of that malarkey. To discover after 4,000 miles and 6 months of ownership that one of the fork seals is gone is bloody disappointing. So I ordered some fork seals because I thought, well, the fork seals need changing. And then I thought, well, hold on a minute, the bike's 6 months old, it's done 4,000 miles. Surely this is a warranty thing. I know that they are consumables, but after such a short time. So I got hold of Lings. I bought it from Lings in Harleston, and up to now, and I've had 2 bikes brand new from them, they've been good. My opinion of them is changing somewhat. What I anticipated would happen when I phoned them up is they would say something along the lines of, I'm sorry to hear that, it's unexpected that they should go so soon. What we'll do is we'll talk to Husqvarna, and we'll get authorization to change the seals for you. That's what I expected them to do. What they actually said was, well, we'd need to see the bike. We'd need to see the bike and make an assessment. And once we've made our assessment, bearing in mind they're 200 miles away from me, once we've made that assessment, then we then submit we'd apply to Husqvarna to see if they would cover this, under warranty. And if they don't, well, you've got to pay for it. And I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute. Why can't you talk to Husqvarna first? If you need pictures or video or whatever you need, because bearing in mind the distance I am from Lings, then that's fine. I can do that. But they said either go to a nearer Husqvarna dealer and they can do this assessment, or you need to bring it to us and we'll have to do it. But nothing can be authorised until it's been assessed. Well, the closest Husqvarna dealer to me is in Tewkesbury, and I would not if they were on fire, because the customer service that I've received from them in the past has been shockingly bad. I would not recommend them to anyone unless I really, really didn't like them. So there's no way I'm taking it there. The next nearest one is about 100 miles away. I mean, Husqvarna dealers are relatively rare in the UK. But what I want service from Lings. I want service from the people that have had my money, which I don't think is unreasonable. So anyway, I spoke to another chap at Lings, and I then got an email back. And basically the email said exactly what I'd been told on the phone. Exactly. Take it to a local dealer, a dealer more local to you, or bring it to us. Can't do anything without seeing the bike and making an assessment. So I then emailed Husqvarna because I thought this is poor. I mean, these are not cheap bikes. It's not a Honda CRF 250 for £5,000. I'd expect more. And so anyway, I emailed Husqvarna, and they acknowledged my email, and that was over a week ago. And I've heard absolutely nothing. Zero. Not a single peep out of Husqvarna. So not only am I disappointed with Lings, who've gone massively down in my estimations, but also Husqvarna, what are you playing at? Is your customer service so terrible that you're just not interested? You have no interest in people once they've bought the bike. Is that Husqvarna's way? It would appear so. Until I hear back from Husqvarna saying, we'll sort it out for you, I'm going to assume they've got no interest whatsoever. So, apart from doing the fuel tank today, that's my little rant about Husqvarna over, because I really like the bike, the next job is change fork seals. Because for sure, Husqvarna aren't going to do it. Unless I do a 400-mile round trip to Lings, which I might have to pay for, and which will cost me a shed load just to get there and back. I've got the fork seals, I'm going to change them myself. So that's the next job. So anyway, I'm going to get on with that, and then you'll join me later and I can tell you how I've got on, because bearing in mind, I've never done fork seals, but I've watched a video, so that's fine. What could possibly go wrong? And I do know a bit about mechanical engineering. Good. Right. You'll join me shortly. See you in a bit. Right. Taking the tank off, and sadly and very disappointingly, as you can see from the heat shield which goes underneath, which was adhered to the tank, it's been leaking fuel from the same place that the original tank leaked fuel, and that is not from the banjo bolt, but from the bit of metal that's moulded into the tank, into which you screw the banjo bolt up to. There's a notice on it. So not more than 12 Newton meters. Well, I did it to 11 because I thought I don't want to go to 12. It's not necessary. It should, 11 should be fine. So I only did it to 11, and it's leaked again. Massively disappointing. So, after doing the wheels with Tiger Seal, what have I done with it? Oh, I still have some left. So, according to the internet, so it must be true, you can use this on fuel tanks, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll take off the hose. I'm reluctant to take off the banjo bolt because I don't want to keep screwing up, unscrewing, screwing up, unscrewing into this thing, which may even make it worse. So I'm going to basically put some Tiger Seal round here and smear it around and then leave it to dry for 24-48 hours. It won't take long to dry actually, because it will only be thin. So what a pain in the beep. But anyway, these things are sent to trials. Fortunately, of course, I can do all this myself. You know, if I was having to pay a garage at sort of £75 an hour or some motorcycle outfit, then it would be costing me an arm. I'd be selling a kidney by now. In fact, I'd have probably sold both by now, to be honest, with the amount I've been spending. Anyway, time to get on with that. See you in a bit. Right, fork legs off. Have a look at this. So, fork leg, fork seal, goo, fork seal rammer thing, got some rubber grease, red rubber grease, ready to do that. Fork seal kit. Right, all I need to do now is get on with it. So, how hard could it be? See you later. Right, getting on pretty well actually. Have a look at this. So, forks are apart, seals off, there's the outer tube, and all my components that I've taken off are all in the order that they came off in. So, next thing is stick the new one on. Let's see how we get on. Right, fork seal's done. So there's the fork leg. All the seals are changed and back together, oil at the right level, hopefully. So now it's a case of putting it back on the bike and starting the next one, because we really ought to change both of them. They both have the same amount of wear. I mean, I know that's a bit, you know, 4,000 miles and 6 months is hardly a lot of wear, but while I've got the bike apart, I might as well do both of them. So on with the next one now. Right, forks are done. Back on the bike. There they are, looking very nice and clean and shiny. Correct amount of oil in. I measured the air gap. I allowed 11 centimetres of air gap, and we'll see what happens. Because after riding it for 10 or 20 kilometres, a few more air bubbles might come out the system, and we'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, it's done. Of course, the first one took an hour and a half, and the second one took 20 minutes, because they just do. In fact, if I did a third one, it'll probably take 10 minutes. So, next job is rewire the heated grips. Because at the moment the heated grips are straight to the battery. They're Oxford heated grips, and I have done a video about fitting those. And they are, you can leave them hardwired to a permanent live, because they'll switch themselves off. There is a permanent live. There's also a switched live, I believe, under the front headlight housing. So so what I'm going to do is take it apart, find out where it is, and wire them into that live feed, and then I'll get rid of the wiring that goes back to the battery, which will be a good thing. So I'll get on with that now. Right, that's about it for today in the workshop. Forks are done, rewired the heated grips, sorted out some wiring around the battery, sorted out the fuel tank, so hopefully that won't leak anymore. Tomorrow I'll put some fuel in and just make sure everything's okay, but hopefully the Tiger Seal has done the job. I also, because I kept the old tank, I've Tiger Sealed that one as well. I don't know why really, but anyway, it might become useful one day. Last things to do are oil and filter change and sort out the wheels, and then put everything back together. For the stock wheels, I'm going to stick some knobblies on, so we'll see where we go with that. But for now, that's it. Hope you've mildly enjoyed watching. If you have, please subscribe. It really helps. It's nice to know what you're thinking of what I'm producing. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.